Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Four Towers Films.
And I'm Doug218. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you guys? We are back recapping Big Brother Season 23. We are doing a dual week this week. It's week 7 and week 8.
And
so there's a lot to tell
There's
you.
a lot to catch up on, guys. So let's jump right into it.
All right.
So as it was last left, we jump into Sunday, and we're doing it was a random draw for the HOH.
Yeah.
So it was basically it's a contest I've done before where they the first pair are randomly chosen, and then you have to answer questions. What they had to do was, like, I believe it was they had to remember certain things, and whoever answered wrong was eliminated. Whoever answered correctly chose the next pair. So the first pair,
and of course, left standing is the winner.
So Britt and Claire were the first two picked at the beginning of the competition. Claire answered incorrectly,
so she's eliminated.
So she's out. Brittany advances. Then Brittany chose Sara Beth and Kyland. Sara Beth is eliminated. Kyland advances. He chooses.
Word.
He chose Brittany and Azza. Sorry, guys, I'm making stuff up on the fly. We were working on something else. Sorry about that in the background.
It's hot in there. So.
It is very hot. Brittany was eliminated. Azza then chose Kyland to face Alyssa. Alyssa was eliminated. Kai then chose Azza to face Derek F. Derek F got eliminated. Azza then picked Tiffany versus Hannah. Hannah got eliminated, so Tiffany picked Azza to face Kyland. Now, what you hear close up is, like, Azza saying to Kai, hey, like, why don't you throw this to me? Let me win my first HOH. And Kyland didn't do that.
Well, he made it seem like he would.
And like then at the last minute.
When they were talking, it almost made it seem like he would throw it to Azza, but in the end he didn't, and he ended up winning the HOH.
Sorry, guys. So he knocked off Azza, then Tiffany threw, because Tiffany was left.
Right.
Tiffany's like,
for it.
I'm okay, my man from the cookouts here.
Yeah.
We're good to go. So
Azza wasn't too happy that he didn't throw it to her either, and confronted him on it.
Oh, of course. Because it's like, okay, listen, you and I had a deal. You know, you made me think that everything was cool.
Right.
And Kai's kind of the master of the double talking two-step. You know, well, you know, it's like this.
Yeah.
So Azza's worried that Kai's going to put Brittany up against her.
Right.
So
which I think is one of the reasons she wanted to win.
Exactly. And so while this is going on, Derek F is, like, talking to Kai about, hey, man, like, why don't you put Sara Beth up?
Right.
You know, like.
Well, he's trying to get them off of them all the time and away from Brittany, because that seems to be, Brittany seemed to have been
the target du jour.
And Tiffany's target for, like, weeks, you know, for whatever reason.
And Derek's kind of idea was, well, look, dude, everyone sees you as a couple. And if you put her up, that will kind of dispel that idea.
Right.
Then, like, everyone's kind of worrying about what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder, like, is Kai that much of a wild card? They don't really know where his head's kind of sitting.
Well, all they know with Kyland is he probably wouldn't target the cookout, at least that they know of.
That's true.
But they don't know because all of them don't want their partners to get nominated either. Like Tiffany doesn't want Claire or Derek X just yet, Xavier doesn't necessarily want Melissa just yet, and of course Oz and Big D don't want Brittany, and they know that's probably going to be targets Brittany.
She has for a while.
And they also don't know who he put up against her. Ozzy believes it'd be her, though.
Well, and while all this is going on, Tiffany's like worried about Claire going home. Because Claire is that extra vote in the pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Like she said, she's been her girl like since about day 2. Because they're on the Queens together, but it's also kind of like an extra vote for her side.
Yeah.
Like it's like her extra ally outside the cookout.
And so then we get another shot of Kai and Asa talking to each other, and it's one of those conversations that go nowhere and quickly. So they both kind of walk away frustrated. Claire then sits down to talk to Kai, and she suggests a Joker,
right,
or Xavier,
right.
So all of a sudden, like, Kyland's going, okay. And
maybe Claire has to
go. So Kai and Derek F then meet again, and Sara Beth is suggested as a pawn. Kai kind of laughs it off. Then my man Derek, I love this dude. He's the nicest cat in the building. Derek F.
Right.
Nicest cat in the building. He suddenly, he, as he puts it, I don't know what was going through my head. I don't know what I was thinking, but I volunteered.
Yeah.
He said he would go up as a pawn.
Well, because he didn't want Brittany or Ozzy to go up, and that's primarily why he did it.
So
it's supposed to be like a deal.
I'll go up. You keep Brittany off the block.
Right.
Kai says, okay. So we get the first dip into the high roller room.
Right.
Money. So for 50 BB bucks, you can play Veto Derby.
Right.
For 125 BB bucks, you can win a chance to remove a nomination and replace with the wheels roulette.
Yeah, which is the second week.
And with 250 BB bucks, you could overthrow the HOH with a flip of the coin.
Called Coin of Destiny, which would be the final week.
So, as we go into the first competition, which is the Veto Derby, Sara Beth has 50 BB bucks.
And remember, it's people like who voted which house guests they want to get. They could vote $100, 100 BB bucks, 75, and if nobody voted anything, but they get 50.
Yeah.
So this is what people voted for them to get.
So Hannah received 75 BB bucks, but she chose not to participate in this game. X received the same amount of money, and he chose to follow suit as well as Hannah. Brittany was given 100 BB bucks, which she saved.
She wanted to try to find the following week.
Well, makes sense.
Maybe.
Ozzy got 50 BB bucks, which she saved. Kai got 50 BB bucks. He earned 9 points.
So he played.
Tiffany earned 75 BB bucks. She played and got 0. DX got 100 BB bucks, but he's like, no, I'm gonna save it.
No.
Big D got 100 BB bucks. he played. So he still had 50 sitting in the bank.
Right.
So he earned 5 points. Claire, who earned 50 BB bucks.
It's almost like a shuffleboard kind of game.
And it was like a cocktail.
Yeah.
And you had to slide it down like you said, a shuffleboard. Claire, as I said, Claire got 50 BB bucks. She earned 4 points. So on Wednesday,
Brittany found out who won. Which would have been the highest number, which I think was Claire.
No, actually it was Kai.
Oh, Kyland won, okay.
Kyland won, sorry. And as we come into Wednesday, Brittany thinks she's safe.
Yeah, because they more or less told her she was.
They told her, girl, you're safe.
Well,
you're safe.
You have to know who to nominate.
Big D and Claire. So she thinks she's safe. Big D and Claire up on the, and so Big D's walking around like, all morose, all sad. He's acting like he's a target. He doesn't want anyone to know that he actually volunteered to go up.
Right.
Claire is right at this point is a target, but Kyle's also looking at Alyssa and Brittany at the same time. Kylan then tells Tiffany that, Claire's a target, and his reasoning was who she wanted to put up were 2 members of the cookout.
Right.
And then Kai tells Tiffany her target was Derek F. and Ozza, so that's who she was looking at.
Of course, one of the last 3 jokers at this point.
So Tiffany works her magic, works her mojo. She shifts the focus to Brittany.
Of course.
This girl could talk the rain out of the clouds, man.
Yeah.
So we get into the veto competition. So it's Kylan, Claire, Big D, Alyssa, Ozza, Britt. The winner of the Derby can bet on who wins the veto contest. And so Kylan will go first and so on down.
Right. Well, they win.
And so if I bet on you,
mm-hmm.
and I get knocked out, but you win,
right?
We both get a veto.
Right.
So it's the infamous OTEV.
OTEV.
So in the order of elimination. Are you ready?
Yep, and OTEV was big like octopus kind of
and
thing.
He sounded like Arnold.
With the muscles.
And so it went as such. Big D, Ozza. Ozza kind of threw her chance to Brittany, and Tiffany sitting over on the side going, say what?
No.
Then it went Brittany, Claire, Kylan. So, and the winner of the POV was Alyssa.
Right.
And because Kai bet on Alyssa, Kylan gets a POV too.
Right.
Then after the POV competition, Kai takes Big D aside and says, gotta tell you, Brittany's going up.
Yeah.
So he's not happy about this. Sara Beth finds out about this as well. And the dude doesn't even have the class to go and tell her himself. He sends Sara Beth out to talk to her. So Sara Beth goes out and tells Brittany she's going up. And
Sara Beth more or less kind of hinted that she thinks Kylan's going to, you might want to go talk to him. Like minutes before the veto ceremony. Yeah.
And so she goes in and she's twanging hot. So we end off with her going in to talk to him and him saying, well, it's like this. I have to make a move. He's doing the HOH talk in circle.
Well, they all do it. If the talker circles, you know you're a target.
Yeah, well, exactly.
You know.
If you won't be straight, then
You know they're lying to you.
that's it. So we end it there. Thursday we go into the veto meeting.
Yep.
Veto meeting goes as such. Kyland pulls Claire down, replaces her with Brittany.
And Alyssa didn't use her.
And exactly. Brittany's upset. She's been up 4 out of 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Tiffany and Claire now are like, they're commiserating now. They're like, Derek F hasn't really ticked off anybody. He's kind of floating along. Everyone kind of likes him.
Yeah, he hasn't really. I mean, I like him, but he hasn't really done much.
He hasn't done much. But they're thinking maybe we need to get rid of this dude.
But really, has Xavier done much?
No.
You know, I mean, he's smart and everything, but really, has he done a lot? Big D hasn't really done anything.
Exactly.
I like him, but
exactly. He's this season's floater.
Not a floater, but just kind of maybe a drag on, like dragged along kind of thing.
Exactly. You know? Excuse me, guys. While Tiffany and Claire are talking, we get a shot of Derek X and Hannah talking about keeping Britt. Then Tiffany's kind of like, she's kind of laying off to the side. They don't see her, but the camera picks her up and talking about how Derek, him and Claire have been kind of figuring out, that they think there's a big alliance working together.
And they actually kind of named them.
Who they thought. And Tiffany's like, ho, 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 ho. Maybe these two need to go soon because now they're catching on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, gang. You mean you can't catch on yet?
After all this time?
So the cookout knows.
They never target each other.
Exactly. So they all kind of get together, and the cookout knows they need to win the next HOH.
Yes.
That's without question. But before we even get to the HOH, the vote came down 7-1. Brittany went home.
Asa was the only one who voted for it to stay.
And, she went out with her head up, smile on her face. She was happy to talk to Julie.
And she's first jury member.
Just think, you got all the peace and quiet of the jury house to yourself.
For a week.
So we get into the HOH competition, and it's like they have to it's like a diner setup. And they have to cross that distance in the quickest amount of time. So Claire goes first. Her time is 34.9.
You mean on the balance beams?
On the balance beam.
They have to cross balance beams. Yeah, and they're all different varying widths.
So her time was...
And the shorter routes than others. Well, we have to explain what it is.
So, let me try this again. Claire went first. Her time was 34.97 seconds. Asa almost knocked her off with 27.04 seconds, but she fell just before she got to the button.
Yeah, it sucked.
Big D, he couldn't cross that distance fast enough. Sara Beth, she crossed the distance in 21.03 seconds.
Yeah, very fast.
Holy smokes. She knocks off Claire. Hannah and Tiffany, they both fail. Derek X fails. Xavier fails. So, by the process of elimination, Sara Beth.
Well, Derek X actually was like a second too late.
Yeah.
So he only lost by a second.
It was all really close times. So Sara Beth
they were the closest, yeah.
Sara Beth was our new HOH. Now let's get into the next week, shall we? Sorry guys, I have a lot of notes here. Okay. So we recap. Sara Beth is the HOH. Derek is happy to hear that, but is happy to hear it, but is not happy Sara Beth is HOH. So kind of was like a contradictory statement. He's like, I'm happy that she won, but I'm not happy she won.
Well, yeah, because he knows that she probably would kind of target him. He hasn't really, even though they worked together with the Royal Flush, but they haven't really worked together since the Royal Flush kind of ended.
So Hannah's ticked off that Sara Beth won. Hannah's ticked off that she won. It's like, it's not fair. Kyland's he's gonna be safe. You know, she's gonna try and take me out. Tiffany and Derek F. They've been kind of, ever since the whole Britney thing, where him and Ozzy went with her to kind of stop Tiffany from kind of bulldozing her. They've kind of been at odds with each other, so they try and hash it out. But as it left on the Sunday, they were kind of on the outs.
They're like, I don't know if they're working. They both have said this in the diary room. They don't really trust each other. They're working together because of the cookout, but they don't really trust each other.
Yeah, if I can pull the trigger on you, I'm gonna pull the trigger on you.
The first opportunity, I could see them taking aim at each other, really.
So then we get a jump to the HOH room, and Sara Beth and Kai are talking, and she talks about maybe DX and Alyssa going up, and Kai asks her what her top priority is. She says Sara Beth. Sara Beth says she'd like to see either one of them go.
Yeah.
Now, Sara Beth is now with Hannah, and because they know the next High Rollers room is coming up.
Yeah, which would be like roulette.
Sara Beth wants the power used. So Sara Beth is working Hannah, and Hannah is working Sara Beth. You know, they're trying to get their agendas made. Claire and Sara Beth talk. Sara Beth hasn't really given up a lot to anybody.
No, and I think that's a lot of reason why Tiffany doesn't trust her that much.
And
really, she only talks to Kyland, really about
as her confidant.
Anything.
Yeah,
and I don't know if she tells him everything either.
No, he's sure the heck ain't telling her everything.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. DX tells her, if this is what you want, I'd rather play for next week, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Big D is holding back from Sara Beth, because she's asking how much money you got. Can you play? And he's like,
the high roller round.
And he's like, I really don't, I'm not, I don't know if I'm going to have the money. And then DX and Claire are talking again. They're talking about they talk about the targets, and then they really seem to narrow in on almost all the cookout. Oz and Derek, Big D talk about SB, like they're all like, it seemed to be Sunday was the consensus of what's going on in this girl's mind. They don't know what she's gonna do. So we get another glimpse of Kai and Sara Beth talking strategy. DX, Alyssa, and Xavier. Sorry guys, I can't read my own writing. Want to Xavier wants to sway her nominations. Sorry, folks. Yeah, Xavier wants to sway her nominations of DX to DX instead of like Derek F or whatever. Claire and Tiffany are talking strategy. Hannah and Derek talk strategy. It's like everyone was either talking strategy or commiserating about the fact that, you know, she ain't saying nothing to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So high roller room.
Well, the nominations first, don't they? Before
So
the high
it was.
roller room.
Pardon me, guys. Like I said, I'm a lot of notes, so my eyes got a little punchy here. So it was Alyssa and Xavier
That she nominated.
that she nominated.
But she said those aren't necessarily her targets.
Nothing set in stone.
She actually did want. She was saying all along she wants to actually backdoor Derek X, Baby D, as she started calling him.
So in the high roller room, you had to have $125 BB dollars to play.
The roulette one.
The roulette one. Claire, she had 100. She's out. Azza,
Can't play.
She couldn't play either.
Azza's only really been getting like $50.
And she's like, yo, man, what's up?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So she's not well liked.
Hannah had 75, which she banked. X had 75, which she banked. Sara Beth only got 50.
Yeah, she's not well liked either.
Tiffany got 75, so she couldn't play. Alyssa got 75, so with what she had banked, she was able to play. So she was the only one that plays because Kai only got 50. Derek F got 50. So he still had 50 in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So he had 100. So, but he couldn't play either. So Alyssa does it, and it's how many revolutions around the to rotate the ball around the roulette wheel.
Yeah, they stand on it.
And do
the one who has the most revolutions and however long was won. But of course, Alyssa's the only one playing, so.
And DX, he had money, but he banked it as well because he wants to play for that coin of destiny. So
little did Derek X know he should have played.
He should have played. Yeah. So Alyssa wins safety. And
she can take somebody off and name it, and the wheel
with the roulette wheel,
a replacement.
And so she brings Derek F down, and we get a shot in the diary room, and she's like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God! Please don't let me get X. Please don't let me get X." The ball goes around the roulette wheel.
She got it. She got X, and she's really upset by that.
Upset.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, nothing she can do. It was
Well, she doesn't know it's safe anyway. They're not going to vote against him.
But she's upset.
But she doesn't know that.
So X is upset at the roulette, but he's like, it's okay. I'm going to be fine. Yeah. Derek X is feeling safe. He's feeling good.
Of course. Oh, yeah. Right.
Alyssa's like, she's really distraught. She's in tears. X is like, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Yeah. It's not your fault. Then everyone starts coming back. Okay, who's your target? To Sara Beth. Claire's the first one. And she's like, she won't say what her true target is.
Well, except to her allies.
Yeah.
And us.
And to us. And she kind of says, I kind of have an idea who I want, but I have to wait and see how the veto is played out.
Right.
So we get a diary room shot, and Claire's trying to figure this out, and she more or less kind of stumbles to it that the only one that she could
would be Derek
X.
Because she needs to go after a big target. So, like she's saying, the only big targets would be Kyland, who she's paired with, or she, whatever, Xavier, or Derek X. So she figures, Xavier was already on the block, so the only one left would be Derek X.
So Claire goes scampering off and clues in Derek DX and says, hey, dude, you may not be safe. So he goes to Derek X goes to talk to Sarah, and he's like in the diary room. He's like, this girl's not giving me anything. No. She's not telling me nothing.
Yeah, but that should be clue in itself. I mean, if they're not telling you something, you're probably the target.
That's a good point.
Although, I mean, other times we've also heard say, "Oh, you're not the target," like Kyland did with Brittany, and they are the target. So you probably have to be really good at reading people.
So Tiffany's now ticked off that maybe DX might be a backdoor, and she's trying to think, how can I go about saving him
and not having him go on the block?
Not having him go on the block,
depending on who won veto.
So Alyssa goes and talks with Sara Beth, and Sara Beth goes, well, here's the thing. I want to take out DX. Mm-hmm. And Alyssa's like, fine, whatever you want to do, if that's what you want to do, I will support it no matter what.
It's not Xavier. She's okay. Or herself.
So he talks, Derek X talks with Sara Beth again, asks who your target is, what do you want to do with the veto. And again, she's not saying squat.
No.
So, and he realizes he's cooked. His goose is cooked.
Well, we don't even know if got veto yet. So he doesn't know it's cooked.
But so Derek and Hannah are now talking about who Sara Beth's target might be. Then we get to veto. And so we have Sara Beth, Claire, X, Azza, Derek F, and Alyssa. Excuse me, guys. Claire is worried about DX sitting next to her on Thursday night.
Yep, she's close to him too.
So it's the idea of this veto competition. It's like a domino stack. You had to get to the buzzer in the quickest route, but you could either win money,
right,
or you had to take 3 punishments,
right.
But you had to make a choice,
right.
So,
and the one who did the fastest won veto.
Big D's like, I don't care about the veto. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I want money.
Yeah, so you went the money route.
He went the money route. So Azza, she knocks hers down. She went after him. She knocked it down. Sara Beth goes after her. She knocks it down the dominoes. X knocks down the dominoes as well. So Claire knocked, and Claire was the final one. So, at 16 minutes and 29 seconds, Derek F. He won.
Yeah, and he won the money.
He won $7,500. So he and the person who won the veto at 3 minutes and 5 seconds. 3 minutes and 5 seconds. That's freaking fast.
Yeah, set up all those dominoes.
his ex. Xavier wins it. But the punishments he took, he was BB bankrupt. So all his BB bucks were gone. Strategy shutdown. He was locked away. He'll be locked away for 24 hours. And he'll be the third nomination at the next possible opportunity. Claire is upset. SB is giddy because she gets to backdoor Baby D.
Yeah.
Claire is in, she's upset. Derek is like, it's okay, it's okay. Tiffany's talking to Claire. They're trying to figure out how they can make they can work this to try and keep him, but it's like an impossible situation. If I try and keep him, I'm going to lose her. If I try and keep her, I'm going to lose him.
Tiffany thinks he'd be the better choice to keep over Claire.
And so
she tries to make that happen.
So Tiffany goes to Hannah about like, hey, let's really try and work to keep DX in the house. And Tiffany says, hey, listen, I'm okay. If it comes down to Claire's gotta go, Claire's gotta go.
Yeah.
But Tiffany also says, Derek, look, go to SB and pitch yourself to this girl. Talk to her. Maybe you might convince her, maybe suggest Hannah.
Yeah.
Goes up.
Well, because they're thinking if Hannah goes up,
she's still covered.
She'll still be saved because they just vote Claire out. So
DX scurries up to the HOH room, and he really works his pitch to SB. She's mulling it over. And it's really coming down to, comes down to the veto meeting. X removes himself. Sara Beth made her decision. Baby D goes up. So we get into Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiff, Hannah, and Azza talk about Derek. They want to try and work something to keep Derek in the house. Hannah goes to Xavier to talk about DX. X talks to Azza. X and Kyland talk with Tiffany on her position on this. So everyone is really working their angles.
Well, I mean, Tiffany's trying, like, she wants both of them. Like she said, Claire is her girl, but she thinks Derek X is better for her game because he can win things.
Yeah.
Claire really hasn't won anything except for like the first week or so.
And be a good shield for her.
And Derek's a bigger target, so he'd be better shield and all that. So she actually tries to convince people to vote out Claire instead of Derek X.
So Xavier's thinking, okay, I've smoothed everything over. I've solved all the problems, the drama. Meanwhile, Tiffany in die room's going, maybe I should do a coup and keep DX in the house. That's when Big Brother comes on and says, Xavier, you got to lock yourself away.
Yeah, 24 hours before the vote.
So he's locked away in the have-not room for 24 hours.
With a tent and a bucket for a bathroom.
Mm-hmm, and a limited supply of food. Nothing like pooping in a bucket in a tent.
No contact, nothing to do for 24 hours.
So just talking strategy with DX. He thinks he can. He thinks he has the votes. But he knows he needs Azza. He talks to Azza and he makes his pitch. It looks like maybe his pitch might have worked.
Yeah, just you said he makes good points.
So we get to the vote, and it comes down to 5-2. Baby D is voted out. He goes, when he speaks to Julie, he's very humble, and he appreciates the opportunity he has. That's what a lot of them have said so far. They really appreciate the opportunity to come.
Well, because a lot of them, like they said, it's like a lifelong dream, forever. Well, some of them are young
That's
enough.
True.
Some of them are young enough to have been kids when the show started, so.
Exactly. So what ends up, and it was funny, Julie goes, so listen, baby D,
$180 BB.
You had the money, why didn't you do this? And he said he thought he was more secure than apparently he was.
And plus wanted to play for Coin of Destiny.
Coin of Destiny.
But, don't assume you're going to be here for the Coin of Destiny when you're a big target.
And then Julie asked him, well, you and Hannah, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And he kind of blushed a little bit, and he's like, well, we'll see what happens outside of this.
Right.
So we get to the HOH competition. Now, they've had to remember videos being flashed on the memory wall.
Yeah, they've done something similar to this before.
And it was a true or false kind of competition.
Just the videos that they saw.
Yeah. So this was competition that you could win extra BB bucks.
Yeah.
But you didn't know what the denominations were because you couldn't open them till.
Yeah, they had envelopes they chose at the end of the competition.
So.
That they could only open when the last time the high roller.
Which would be this week.
Yeah.
So it went out like this. X, Ozza, and Claire in the first whack. First question. Boom. 3 of them gone. Excuse me. Then Derek F. and Kyland went out. And the winner of the competition and new HOH is
Tiffany.
And she's like, oh my God! She was a happy lady.
She was.
So Tiffany won the HOH. She's a bit of a wild card,
Not really. I mean, obviously she's not going to go after cookout members.
No, that's true.
She will use one as a pawn, but she won't necessarily go after them. So really, those choices are kind of narrow to, if you think about it, 2 people. And the one she most has been talking about since she got rid of Brittany has been Sara Beth. That's primarily who she's been trying to get out since Brittany. And the only other one she would really be a target at this point would be Alyssa. So everybody else she's either working with or as part of the cookout. So it's really the only 2 options at the moment. She'd put Claire up if she had to, but she doesn't have to at the moment. But we'll see what she did. Because remember, the Coin of Destiny is also in play. So
exactly. So what do you think of Kai's HOH and Sara Beth's?
Well, Kai, I think he could have actually gone after someone bigger like Derek X, but he liked him and he was kind of working with him too, so it made sense he didn't target him. He could have, because if you think about it, he's more of a threat to Kyland than Brittany was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get why they thought Brittany was such a big threat. I get they're trying to eliminate all the people who are not in the cookout, but there were bigger targets. Derek X could have won and taken them out, or even Alyssa, even Claire. She could have flipped and taken out somebody from the cookout. She doesn't even know, like everybody else. I don't know how they don't know that there's this alliance of 6, but they apparently don't. Even though they've like you're saying. They talked about it, but they still seem always surprised that there's this bigger group working together because they never really target each other. So, but I don't know. I think I get you know, Brittany's easy target, I think, and really that's all Kyland has gone after. Every time he's been HOH is kind of the easy target, so he's put Brittany up pretty much every time he's been HOH. So, you know, it's not that difficult to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, I like Brittany, but I think it was kind of a waste of his HOH. There was bigger targets for him to go after. Really, he wanted to build a resume.
Of course.
Sara Beth, I think it was a big mistake for her to have actually gone after Derek X as opposed to like some of the chicken members like Tiffany. She's not really working with Tiffany. Maybe, yeah, they were part of like the Royal Flush, but that really hasn't been an issue for a while.
No.
Or she could have gone after what she considered a bigger target. Like, you know, she's obviously not going to go after Kyland because she's working with him. But like X or you know, I mean, yes, Derek X is a big target, but I don't know if he would have targeted her yet. I think he had bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think he had his own kind of agenda. So, and if she was smart, she should have taken him up on his offer. Yeah, because he even said to her, you know, there was a few things, just multiple people working together kind of thing. And I don't know, she might have believed him, but she thought he was a bigger target for her. Like, he's never really indicated that she'd be a target. He's always indicated, like, Kyland, which is why she wanted to go for Derek in the first place, or, like, Xavier or one of them. Like, that's kind of what he indicated. Yeah. And, I mean, in a way, you know, it kind of might have sealed her fate getting rid of Derek X, you know, instead of going after the 6, you know, because they're eventually going to have to target each other. Well, and I could see at this point, if you look at it, once it does get down to that, say right now the numbers do really whatever they want, depending on who wins. Like, because there's still Alyssa, Claire. Is that it? That's outside the cookout. Alyssa and Claire. Alyssa, Claire, that's it. And Sara Beth. And Sara Beth. So everyone else is cookout. Everybody else is cookout. So it's like 3 outside members. Everybody else is cookout. So like, unless like Claire or not Hannah, but Alyssa, when say the next HOH after Tiffany, if they're not eliminated. Well, you know, they're going to be up next to go kind of thing. So exactly. I don't know. I guess I get her reasoning. She did want to go after a bigger target. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, of course you should do that. But I don't know. I think she even talked about it herself. There may have been bigger targets, and really Kyland kind of steered her away from them. So, for sure. And the cookout are very good at that, and nobody seems to catch on to this fact. No, that's true. I guess you've never watched this game before, so all these super fans, and they keep messing it up. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't get it, but I guess I think Derek X should have played. I think he thought it was too safe because of Sara Beth. I guess not that they've been extremely close, but I guess he felt safe enough with her. And I think that was his downfall. But never assume in this game. Always fight for your own safety. So well, look, one of the taglines of this show is "Expect the unexpected." Well, exactly. Well, expect the unexpected, and everybody's playing for themselves anyway. So don't assume they're going to always tell you the truth. So especially when you're a big target and you're like the numbers are dwindling, so of course you're going to be on their radars to get rid of, even if they're working with you. That's it. Only one wins this game, so you know that's how you got to think of it. You know, and if at that point he had a bit of suspicion, he wasn't 100% sure, but he still thought he'd be safe. See and that's really was a downfall. So, and I think that's the problem when they get that sense of they feel a little more secure than they should. Yeah, you never feel secure in this game. You know, and that's really when you get out the door. And I think as a player, you should always feel, kind of keep that to keep you sharp. Yeah. Always feel never feel safe. Don't ever feel safe. No. Because then that keeps you keenly aware of what's going on around you. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. Well, that is it for the last 2 weeks of Big Brother
season 23. Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm glad I had the little book.
That's and thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our show. It was a little bit longer this week, which is okay. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live every Sunday, or maybe not last week, but usually.
Well, we will eventually be getting back to a more normal schedule.
Yeah. But anyway, take care, guys. For all of you who are in the path of Hurricane Ida, which is actually hitting the last 12 hours in Louisiana area, stay safe. Our thoughts are with you, and hope everybody comes through this okay.
God bless, guys.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.